G'day everyone, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Pommyinoz. Hi, I hope we're all doing really well, and if you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe. It does mean the world to me. We're really just creeping up. It's nice and steady as we head towards AFL season. Just a few little points of interest. I will be live Thursday morning for the Carlton Essendon practice match. Come and have a watch along. We'll have a scoreboard running, and we'll have my humorous anecdotes throughout the game. You get to see me as well get a little bit angry. So if you aren't a member of Carlton and you just watch me because you love my stuff, or you're busy, at least you can put me in the pocket and listen to me and I'll guide you through it. Also, we do have a Discord, link is in the description. Please get involved. It's a really good place to reach out and contact me. A lot of you have asked how to get in touch with me. Also, it's really good as well. You can throw some video ideas. I love doing new videos for you guys and girls. So what we're doing today is back on the agenda of working out impacts per minutes played, and we're doing my favourite, and that is the general defenders. Everyone knows that I love a backline, so what I've done is I've taken the best rated by the system that I use, and we're going to have a look at them, and so we can see what to look forward to this season. So we start off with Adelaide, and if you're a super coach player like me, or just a fantasy guy in general, probably one of your first picks. I'm a big fan of Rory Pendlebury, and if we look at Rory Pendlebury, you can see why his numbers are staggering. 32 touches per game played, 5.4, 1.6 1%ers, 5.2 rebounds, 7.3 intercept possessions, 402.13 metres gained, and 25.11 of them touches are real touches. Real phenomenal player, offers a great little bit of width, finds the ball, a real modern day accumulator down the back, and a real danger on the old transition, which is becoming the new offense, your transition. He's a very good transitional player. I love Rory Pendlebury, he is one of my favourites. Next up is another guy that I've just recently picked up in a dynasty. Had him for 2 years now, and that's Daniel Rich at Brisbane. So if we look at Daniel Rich's numbers, 25.3 disposals, 6.7 marks per game, 2.81 percenters, 7.2 rebound 50s, 7 intercepts, 607.2 metres gained. It is a metres gained league, and this guy is a beast at it. 20.48 effective disposals from them 25.3. Really exciting player. I'm a big fan of Daniel Rich. He's tough to beat one-on-one, and he also gives you that energy off the half-back line. A real solid footballer. Next up, personal favourite of mine and my captain, and that is Sam Doherty. And you know what? He's one of our own as well. Coming from a little bit of Scottish heritage, 28.2 disposals per game, 8.7 marks based on a full game, 2.6 1%ers, 6.5 rebound 50s, 7.1 intercept possessions, 534.6 metres gained, 22.808 of them would be effective disposals. An absolute beast. And when you correlate these over the last 2 years they've played, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. But bearing in mind last year was his first year for 2 years. He's back to his best, and he'll only get better. For me, in my opinion, and it might be biased, he is the best general defender in the competition. Jeremy Howe at Collingwood next, and I love Howe. He's one of my favourites. There's a few players at Collingwood, and I hate to say it because they're not a team I like. There's a few players there that I do enjoy watching, and Jeremy Howe definitely is one of them. 21.7 disposals, 8.3 marks, 7 1%ers, 6.1 rebound 50s, 8.7 intercept possessions. He's an intercept genius. 396.5 metres gained, 17.45 of them are effective disposals, and he is an absolute staple, isn't he, as a general defender. He's tough to beat, he has high energy, finds the ball, he transitions well, he tracks back well as well. He's got real high work rate. And obviously he's a specky, isn't he? He can just take a spectacular mark. Absolute gun of a footballer. Big fan of Jeremy Howe. Jordan Ridley next at the Bombers. And obviously had a breakout year last year. Really came to the floor. If you do play fantasy at all, anyone who picked him up might have been mocked pre-season, but no one was mocking him come round 12. 19.7 touches a game, 7.6 marks, 4.61 percenters, 4.5 rebound 50s, 5.5 intercept possessions, 309.18 metres gained, 17.29 of them are effective disposals. Real high efficiency rate for his number of touches, so he's not a massive accumulator, however he uses it well, and that kind of sums up his game. He's very reliable, very steady down the back there, and he's an absolute jet of a footballer, and he's only going to get better. So if you're an Essendon fan, he's only going to get better, and that is a real key to it. If we do this in 2 years' time, I'd imagine he will probably rate a lot higher than where he does today. Fremantle then, Luke Ryan. Now for me, and I always say this, one of the most underrated players in the competition. And I feel like I say that a lot, but I just feel like mainstream media misses the point when you look at analytical data. And what we've done here with this analytical data is it's just purely defensive numbers. The disposals on this really count for nothing. They're just there as a metric for you guys. But we go through the real key defensive stats. So let's have a look. Disposals 22.9, 6.1 marks, 5.41 percenters, 6.8 rebound 50s, 9.5 intercept marks, 463.71 metres gained, leaving 18.91 touches in a full game as effective disposals. And he's an absolute jet, man. Absolute jet. Kicking specialist as well. Solid footballer, and someone that, you know, if you were doing like a dynasty draft, he would be close to one of your first defenders picked. Has to be. Love Luke Ryan. Geelong next, and this was quite a tough because there's quite a few that are itching around, but Zach Tuohy just gets the nod. 21.9 touches, 5 marks per full game, 1.21 percenters, 4.2 rebound 50s, 5.4 intercept possessions, 452.47 metres gained, 15.51 effective disposals. Tuohy is what you get with Zach Tuohy. I'm a big fan of him. He's got very high work rates, very high energy. Probably not the greatest core numbers, but he is a real solid player. And I think when you look as well with how the system works, is you've got to look at it. This is kind of like per minutes played, and he's very high output. I'm a big fan of Zach Tuohy, and obviously, you know, there's some players there now at Geelong that I'd be looking at to really usurp this guy, but real solid player. Another old-timer in the lists, Jarrod Harbrow for Gold Coast Suns. He averages 20 touches per game, 5 marks per game, 2.81 percenters, 3.9 rebound 50s, 6.4 intercept possessions, 323.2 metres gained, 15.28 effective disposals. And again, he's another person who's really kind of like been habitual, has been a rock for Gold Coast. And I don't expect to see him play full game this year, full game time. I don't expect to see him play every game. I think that Gold Coast are going to start blooding their youngsters. But he's been an honourable servant for them while he's been there. And he's real steady, isn't he? Nick Haynes next at GWS. Now, he's another guy that really impressed me. And you'll see why. 20.9 disposals, 9 marks. He's an absolute beast down the back. 5.41 percenters, 5.3 rebound 50s, 8.3 intercepts. That is just phenomenal. He is an absolute beast down the back. 377.38 metres gained. Working out at 16 disposals that are effective for his side. He's brilliant down the back. And I'm a big fan of Nick Haynes. I love watching his game. I think he goes about it well. I think he attacks the ball with intent. And as a man that really enjoys defensive players, he's a player that I really enjoy watching, because it's not just what the numbers correlate as well, it's what he does off the ball. Absolute jet of a footballer. Hawthorn Football Club next, and that's Jack Scrimshaw. Surprise, surprise, 22.4 touches per game, 5.7 marks, 3.11 percenters, rebound 50s 3.8, intercepts per game for 8.5, 361 and a bit metres gained, and 16.2 effective marks, effective disposals. And Jack Scrimshaw just fits the bill of Hawthorn, doesn't he? He's reliable, he's steady, he gets the job done, he gets the ball moving, he looks to keep the chains moving. It's a very Hawthorn method, and he's solid at what he does. And I'm a big fan of Jack Scrimshaw. I mean, he's very good for what he is. Christian Salem next at Melbourne Demons. I love Salem. Now, you could argue that he's played a lot of midfield time. The criteria for this is that they had to play more than 50% in that row, and he does fit that bill just. So 26.4 touches, 5.3 marks per game, 2.21 percenters, 5.4 rebound 50s, 5.6 intercepts, 431.34 metres gained. Working out at 19.22 effective disposals. And Salem is someone who is really going up into the midfield at the moment, so probably won't fit this criteria for too much longer, but he does play there, and he is a real solid player, real high energy, real modern day, small, general-ish defender, isn't he, who just like looks to break lines, looks to take the game on, because attack is the best form of defence, isn't it? Or defence is the best form of attack, you could say, nowadays in AFL. He's a transition specialist. He can turn defence into attack, really go through them sets. So I'm a big fan of Christian Salem. McDonald next to North Melbourne, another guy that you probably will be looking at in your fantasy sides. 20.9 disposals per game, 4.6 marks, 3.1 1%ers, 4.6 rebounds, 6.4 of them are intercept possessions, 343.33 metres gained, 16.41 effective disposals. And McDonald is just a solid footballer, another guy that attacks the ball hard, attacks with intent, looks to turn defence into attack. I'm a big fan of McDonald. I think he's very underrated for what he does, and he's a phenomenal player. And if North Melbourne are going to move up the ladder, he's going to be one of them guys that will be doing that for them, will be part of that change. Port Adelaide next, and this is a surprising one, this, because I would have probably said Darcy Byrne-Jones. I would have probably said, but Ryan Burton gets the nod here. 26.2 touches per game, 5.7 marks, 3.21%ers, 5.4 rebounds, 7 intercept possessions, 515.77 metres gained, working out at 19.14 effective disposals. And it's really a state of this criteria. This criteria ignores, the Salt Bay sprinkle. This really just looks at your core defensive numbers and what modern day AFL is in a defensive way. And Ryan Burton just ticks the boxes. Real solid footballer, real good player. Bashar Houli at Richmond next, and I don't think this is a surprise because it was probably him or short for me. 30.6 disposals, 6.8 marks per game, 2.81%ers, 5.7 rebound 50s, 7.5 intercept possessions, staggering 514.27 metres gained, working out at 24.26 effective disposals. And effective disposals kind of give him the bumper on here because disposals count for nothing in this metric. They're just there, as I say, for a gradient so you can read. But real solid player, isn't he, Bashar Houli? He attacks the lines, and if you look at how Richmond play, he is a catalyst for what they do. You've got Jordan Short on the other side as well, who really sets it going. Both them two are solid footballers, and you can see how Richmond play, why they're so integral to their system. Hunter Clark next for St Kilda. One of my favourites. I really enjoy Hunter Clark's game. 24.3 touches, 5.2 marks, 1.1 for 1%ers, 3.1 rebound 50s, 5.5 intercept possessions, 325.36 metres gained, and that works out 17.48 effective disposals. As he gets older, this is going to get better, and I'm a big fan of him, and the way they play, it's quite hard to have high metrics because they're very smash and bash. But Hunter Clark is an absolute phenomenal player, and guy I'm really excited about seeing just him develop in this team. Jake Lloyd next, another staple of your fantasy sides. 33.4 disposals on a full game, 6.5 marks, 2.3 1%ers, 7.6 rebounds, 6.3 intercepts, 563.48 metres gained. It is a metres gained league. I love saying it. 26.98 effective disposals, and Jake Lloyd is phenomenal. Absolute beast of a footballer. People forget about his defensive work, and this here, looking at his numbers, sure, he is a defender who just has a penchant for the attack. Absolute jet. Someone that can average over 25 touches down the back and be very relatively efficient while doing it is as rare as rocking horse doo-doo. Absolute jet of a player. Up next, a personal favourite of mine. I've said that about every player, Pom. Shannon Hurn, 25.3. 8 marks per full game played, 3.8 1%ers, 7.1 rebound 50s, 8.6 intercepts, 448.49 metres gained, and 21.96 effective disposals. And Shannon Hurn, for me, is a staple of what being a general defender is about. You look at how West Coast play, they use their backline to control and see games out, to launch attacks, to soak up pressure, and to waste your energy and time. And he is a specialist in all these avenues. An absolute jet of a player. Absolute jet. And I don't care he's old. I don't care you might say he'll retire. Look at him. Shannon Hurn can play forever, man. Caleb Daniel at the Doggies next. And he's another guy that's suffering from a bit of mid-time, playing a bit more forward as well. Big fan though of Caleb Daniel, 28.7 touches, 4.4 marks in a full game, 2.91 percenters, 6 rebound 50s, 7.3 intercept possessions, 469.59 metres gained, and 23.2 effective disposals. What can you say about Caleb Daniel? He's just one of them players, isn't he? He's one of them players that absolutely hits the ground running and really sets defence from attack. The modern day footballer. So while you're there now, I want you to think of who your top 5 is. And just this is just the metrics doing it. So what they do now is they give a rating on all the defensive stats that we've correlated, and then give them just a rating of like who has the best average. So in at 5 then is Luke Ryan. Luke Ryan is at 5, and he was very impressive. An average out of 18, he had an average positioning of 6.4, and that's a phenomenal effort for Luke Ryan. Real good player. He was 5. Number 4 was my mate Sam Doherty. He had an average position of bang on 6, and that just shows the credit of him. He's very, very, very solid at just everything, just across the board as a defender. Top 4. 3rd was Bashar Houli. Bashar Houli, 5.8 was his average position on this metric, and he's the 3rd best general defender in here, and I think that's fair because I think he's very underrated. In at 2 with an average position of 5.78, just snipping Bashar Houli. 1%ers and intercepts though were way down. However, his metres gained and his attacking prowess, his rebound 50s, his tackle pressure, all them metrics getting him up very high. So the general defender rule, you know, they're looking at intercepts, looking at 1%ers, shows the other stuff he does that's probably not correlated and not looked at closely. He had an average position, like I say, of 5.7. He took 2nd spot out, and the best general defender, who had a staggering average position of 5, is Shannon Hearn. And he was just top 3 for most of the metrics. Most of the metrics played, which I think is phenomenal. So Shannon Hearn, per pound for pound, wins the general defender. Let me know who you think is the best general defender in the comp. This is just based on the last 2 years. I'd love to have a discussion about it. Until next time.